Friday evening, I released a video saying how this could be a program changing weekend for the Tennessee Volunteers football team, and it's certainly adding up to that right now. Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel, just moments ago, tied in Deshaun Brame out of Kansas, makes it official. He does commit to Tennessee, giving Tennessee their second commitment of the weekend. They got one yesterday from Shady Hayward, defensive back out of Georgia. Wasn't able to do that. I had a day. We had a day with us family out having some fun, and just wasn't able to do that. I'll definitely talk more about that tomorrow night when I go live at 7:30 on Monday night. But Deshaun Breen, it's been speculated for maybe close to 2 weeks, maybe not quite 2 weeks, that he could flip. Tennessee remained in contact with him. He committed to Oregon. Excuse me, let me back up a minute. He committed to Oregon over Tennessee back in June. It was led to believe that going up to that, he was going to commit to Tennessee. A lot of the analysts, national analysts, volunteers analysts, all had thought Tennessee was going to get him. Things changed the night before. A lot of people caught on to that. But the interest was maintained. The staff did not give up on him. He came to campus this weekend to visit unofficially, because everything is unofficial right now. And now Brame is the second tight end in the fold. He is a 4-star. What he's getting, according to Charles Power of On3, a tall, talented prospect who excels as a pass catcher. Brame is ranked the number 4 tight end in the country, according to On3. Power goes on to say, I think he has a good combination of size and athleticism, 6'4.5", 220. He's one that excels at working up the seam. We see him primarily line up at the high school level, flexed into the slot. Creates a mismatch when he draws linebackers or safeties working into the middle of the fields. And said last year he had 942 yards and 13 touchdowns. Power goes on to say, so he is a guy who I think, looking at his skill set, reminds me of Holden Stays coming out of high school, who is more than likely going to be Tennessee's number 1 tight end when we get to the fall. Power goes on to say at the end, this is a big flip for Tennessee. He's a top 10 tight end for us and has been an On3 prospect for the entirety of the cycle. He's a guy I think coming back and getting him in the boat is big for Tennessee. Tennessee's tight end coach, Ablin, I think it's how it is. I hope that's right. Continues to really bring in the prospects. Jack Van Dorselaar is in the fold. You add Deshaun Breen. You add what they added through the portal. It's looking good for the 2026 class as well. These guys who received criticism last year for missing out on some targets are now starting to really hone in on them, really bring these guys in. They're starting to put together solid classes at each position as you go along the way. And of course, the big visitor coming into the weekend, David Sanders Jr. He visited Nebraska earlier in the week. He came to Knoxville yesterday. It was believed he was wrapping up today. He announces on August 17th. By all indications, from what I'm reading, just from what different analysts speculate, I don't think anybody knows for sure right now what's going to happen. But if Tennessee does not get David Sanders, I don't think this reflects anything on Tennessee. They have done everything they can do to get him in the boat. He's visited here so many times at this point. I will be really surprised if David Sanders Jr. is not a Vol on August 17th. Now, we talk about a little bit out of the weekend. Shady Hayward, top 100 defensive back who could possibly grow to a linebacker, commits. He committed Tennessee over Georgia and Florida. A great commitment. I saw Matt Ray of VolQuest.com. He stated, I think it was as early as back as March, he said that Hayward had indicated to him it's always going to be Tennessee. But he wanted to go through the process. I think Georgia gave him something to think about as well. But in the end, it was always Tennessee. And that's what Hayward himself said in some interview. It was always Tennessee. What else comes out of this weekend? We'll see. Faison Brandon was on campus, number 1 overall player and quarterback for 2026. He announces next Saturday. It's believed that the Vols will get good news here as well. This staff's hitting on all cylinders right now. The biggest thing they have to do is continue to build this program, continue to add that depth, and continue to build for the futures. It's turning into a quarterback U. And I said it in that video I made on Friday about the program changing weekend, that when you have 4 classes of quarterbacks on campus, Nico, Merklinger, McIntyre, Brandon, who we think is going to be in the fold, think is going to be in the fold next weekend. That is 4 classes of quarterbacks, high-level quarterbacks, elite quarterbacks, recruiting you to come protect either your left or your right, depending on where Sanders comes in place. That's big. That's big. I know Nebraska rolled the red carpet out as well, but in the end, I think it's Tennessee. I know a couple guys who didn't make it in that was supposed to or were scheduled to was Jaden Perlotti and Dwayne Morris. Morris is a USC commitment. From what I've seen, I think it was Blue Chip Breakdown who posted it, that Perlotti was visiting USC, Southern Cal, both of them Southern Cal. Remains to be seen what's going on with that one. It's speculated for a while that Perlotti would be in the fold at some point. It's not happened. So I think you got to start to wonder, if I'm Tennessee, and I'm sure they're already in the process of it, I would start shifting. I would continue recruiting Perlotti, but I would also start widening my linebacker board as well in the event that he does not end up in the fold. But we'll talk about all this more tomorrow night, Monday night, 7:30 p.m. I released a video earlier. I've released 2 now. One was on Lady Vols, the number 13 overall recruit. Cut her top 4. Lady Vols won. They will get an official visit. Tennessee baseball did get another commitment for 2025. I'll link both of these at the end if you want to check those out. And so lots of things going on campus. And then there's plenty of Tennessee basketball recruiting to get. A lot of prospects are naming visits. We'll get into that at some point this weekend, as there's just a lot going on with it. It's pretty awesome. But hit that thumbs up if you like the content. Membership tiers and Patreon, they're all live. $2.99, $4.99, $9.99 for memberships. If you hit the join button, you can look to see what is offered for that. There is the Patreon for, if you want to support the channel for $1 a month. And I always say this, the memberships, super chats, super thanks, all these things, they do go into trying to make the channel better in terms of technology, in terms of being able to provide better coverage. It's an everything school. I'm trying to be an everything channel, and I'm in the process, probably more as we work toward the spring, of adding Lady Vols softball to the equation as well. I'm going to cover them all as thoroughly as possible. And like I said, this is my goal with all this. And it's always been my goal since I've done a channel, was to do a lot of different things, a lot of different sports, see where it leads to one day. It's not a dream. It's none of that. It is something that's fun. It's something I've enjoyed doing. It's something I'd like to continue to do. Sometimes when you sit on the sidelines for over 2 years, you want to get back in. Players know that. That's the way it goes. You don't have those options. Sometimes you create your own options. Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel. Enjoy your Sunday. And last but most certainly not least, go Vols.
Everyone rejects me.